Welcome to the Transform Your Mind to Transform Your Life radio show and podcast. I'm your host, Coach Myrna Young, and today we continue in our series, Health is Wealth, with the topic, How Nutritional Supplements Help You Achieve Optimum Health. And my guest today is Dr. Stephen Lewis. Thank you, Dr. Stephen. I'll call you Dr. Stephen from here on out. Welcome.
Yes, okay. Well, it's good to be here. Thank you.
You're very welcome. All right. Well, I am very interested to talk to you today because I take about 12 nutritional supplements per day. So I'd love to get your feedback on whether it's helpful to my health or not. All right. So let me give you some more information on Dr. Stephen Lewis. Dr. Stephen Lewis and Janet, his wife, have a long history of helping people achieve their optimum health by utilizing extensive but low-cost lab work. Dr. Stephen Lewis stays current on the latest research pertaining to nutritional supplements and optimal health. Janet Lewis is a certified natural health consultant with a unique perspective on alternative and complementary nutrition, from studying with numerous national leading alternative health experts. Their company, Green Wisdom Health, provides science-based knowledge where you get information based on years of experience. Dr. Lewis and Janet treat patients with natural compounds and verify the results with pre- and post-lab tests. This service is provided across the United States, making it convenient and affordable. Based on lab results findings, Dr. Lewis and Janet then provide you with the most highly researched bioavailable nutritional supplements that are available through a healthcare professional. So, Dr. Lewis, right off the bat, I know that my drugstore brands are not probably doing me any good, right? I have to use the proper ones. Is that how that works?
This is going to be interesting when I get a chance to help you get even better than you already are. So, yeah, there's a huge difference in brands, and I just did a consultation right before this, and the lady says, well, I'm taking this, and this, and does that work? And I said, yeah, it's kind of like your crazy ex-boyfriend. She says, okay, I got it. They're in the trash now. There's
what a great analogy. All right, well, I'm probably getting ahead of myself, but all right, so we're going to get into that. I'm pretty sure that I want you definitely to touch on that because I'm pretty sure most of our listeners, that's where they get their nutritional supplements from, the drugstore. All right, so I usually like to set up a kind of a background, though. So can you tell us your journey to becoming the founder of the Green Wisdom Health?
Well, if you go way back, and I was kind of blindsided one time on a radio show, and they kind of, surprised me. And why did I do this? And I found out how bad, how devastating it was. When my daddy died, he was 53 and I was 15, and how devastating it was. And it was something that now I could fix real well. We can't say cure because nutritional supplements, according to the FDA, don't cure anything. But your body has the power, God, to heal itself if it has the nutrition to work. And I got to talking about, my daddy died, but I also know the blessing of having a mother that through nutritional supplementation, we put off dementia for 25, 30 years. We got her bones from being brittle and easily fractured so you couldn't make her fracture a bone into her 80s through nutritional supplements. So she died, she was almost 96. So I know the blessing of what nutrition can do and the innate power of the body. So
that's good.
I was a chiropractor, I was real successful, and I was always more into nutrition than most chiropractors, and we all get a lot of education there, but it just kind of morphed into that, and we started doing low-cost lab work, and we can determine a whole lot of what's going on and know what to give the body, and it's well researched, the nutritional supplements. And I see people that are getting well, and again, we can't treat symptoms or diseases according to the FDA, but if you throw it in there, your body knows what to do with it, and it'll always work for good.
Okay, yeah. So, well, even Deepak, who's one of the people that I started, when I started my journey into becoming, more enlightened and understanding consciousness and all that. One of the first books that I read from Deepak and Deepak Chopra, and it's something a book about aging, but I know there was a whole section in there where he talked about, and that's probably where I got my what I do, because I take a lot of nutritional supplements, and I think it's from reading that book way back that said that you can't get all your nutrition from food, and you have to supplement your nutrition. So yeah, I mean, there's certain things that your body doesn't even produce, right? So you've got to, for instance, Anyway, I'll let you talk about that, but there's certain things that your body don't produce, so you have to have that. And nutrition is definitely what the body needs to survive and for longevity and health and all those type of things. So I can see where you're saying that. I think what you're saying is if your daddy, who died at 53, had some of these nutritional supplements, then maybe might have lived longer. Is that what you're saying?
Oh, absolutely. He had ulcerative colitis, irritable bowel, all that kind of stuff. Now we'd call it Crohn's or celiac.
Yeah.
We have supplements that do an incredible job at stopping the leaky gut, and then everything begins in the gut. But the reason I tell people they have to supplement is because about 85% of all the minerals in the soil in America are gone. And there was even a Senate document in 1936, I think it was, that said our foods are devoid of almost all nutrients, and that was 1936. And
oh wow,
you can't get it. You can't get it all out of your food. And I could go into, say cancer or depression or hormonal problems and give you all sorts of research, medical research that says, well, this supplement helps that, this supplement helps this, and it's that's kind of what I go by is the research. It's like I see miracles every day, and I don't take credit for it. I just tell them, well, I'm a good coach, and you're a good listener, and
that's
you
beautiful.
did what I told you to.
I absolutely do believe that. And it's really interesting that you're saying that, there's no nutrients in the soil, because people spend a lot of money for organic. And if what you're saying is that there's no nutrients in the soil, so that even, there's no nutrients to go into even the organic foods. Is that what I'm hearing?
That's a really good way of thinking about it. So I can tell you a quick story about organic, and I treat a massive amount of organic farmers, the ones that are trying to do it for themselves, at least for their family, if not for their community. And this young man called me, and he had been doing my program for 2 years, and he called me and he says, Dr. Lewis, I've done your stuff for 2 years, and I got off your stuff for 3 months, and I feel like terrible. And I said, well, he said, I got first runner-up organic farm within a year of moving to the new place because your supplements gave me so much energy I could just take it and run with it. And he said, but I quit your stuff and I feel terrible. He said, but I eat organic. And I said, I know organic is better because it doesn't have the plastic pesticides, But I said, the research says that organic food can vary from 1 part per million of manganese and molybdenum to 16,000 parts per million. You still don't know what you're getting, even if you're not getting the pesticides. And he says, but I eat organic. And I said, but you told me you felt wonderful for 2 years and you felt horrible 3 months after getting all of my supplements.
Wow.
So
so it's definitely from the soil. Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah.
Well, organic's definitely
so
but it's not complete.
Yeah, I got you. It's better than nothing, but it's probably not the perfect answer. Is that what I'm hearing, right? Okay.
It's an improvement. Yes.
Yes, it's an improvement, right. Wow, that is really interesting, because everywhere I go, people are talking about, nutrition is definitely the way to health. Which is why I was so glad that I can include you in conversation. Health is wealth. But now we're looking at it deeper, and we're looking at it in a broader perspective. That you need nutrition, but you can't eat it all. You can't eat enough foods to get all the nutrition that your body needs. And even when you think that you're eating the right foods, maybe it's just volume, but not quantity. So quality. So that is that's a great touch on. I love the word consciousness and awareness and things like that. So that's just opened up my mind and my consciousness, and I'm pretty sure the listeners too. Anything else you want to say on that before we move on?
Well, I want to talk about, sometimes people, they'll get bad advice, or someone will say, well, you can get everything you need out of your food, or the supplements aren't approved by the FDA. And I love the FDA, but they also approved the drugs that killed 140,000 people last year. And so this is
Wow.
just about
Wow.
depression and anxiety. Lack of thiamine makes the blood-brain barrier more leaky. That's from Journal of Experimental Neurology. Lack of B vitamin is common in depression, and that's from New England Journal of Medicine. And I could quote research, about hormonal issues, and it just goes on and on. Yes, this is very, very well researched. It's very well documented by university studies and major medical studies that nutrition is, I don't like to say it's an alternative, but it's certainly very, very complementary in getting people well.
Yeah. I like I said, I'm in this space where not only I interview a lot of people, but I also listen to podcasts, and I've heard so many stories of how nutrition cured cancer and cured this. And, at one point in time, I thought that I had Crohn's disease. It was, I diagnosed myself, and I actually didn't have it. But
Right.
I started looking at the foods that I was eating myself, and you brought that up. But what happened with me is that I couldn't process raw kale when I was juicing it. So I got really, really sick. And, the doctors thought that I might have had Crohn's disease. And it was one of the most painful experiences in my life, because I ended up having a blockage. Come to find out that 70% of people can't process raw kale. There's something in it. So, and that's basically how I was trying to, juicing, because everybody says, you should juice and you should go to the store and all that. But, so I understand totally about that nutrition plays a very important role in longevity and health. So, so in the second part of the show, we're going to talk about, how to do it the right way with the supplements. But before I get on to that, you wrote the book, The Thyroid Sniper, and I just want to bring into the conversation very briefly what the thyroid has to do with our health and nutrition. And is there a correlation to supplements through the thyroid? Does the thyroid process it, or what does the thyroid do as far as our health?
This is going to be tacky the way I say it, but it's like the old adage of if mama's not happy, ain't nobody happy. Well, if the thyroid's not working correctly, nothing in the body is going to work like it should. The thyroid is just incredibly important. It has a lot to do with whether you're stressed, have anxiety, depression. It has a lot to do with how your hormones are doing. It has a lot to do with your digestion or lack of digestion, and how your heart beats. And there's so many books written on the thyroid, and I just wrote a really small, short book because I said, all of these so-called experts write these books, and they say such different things. Like one of them says you can never, never, never give iodine to someone who has Hashimoto's disease, and that's a thyroid autoimmune disease. Another so-called expert says you can give them 50 to 75 milligrams, which I think is overdose no matter who you are. So they say, don't give iodine. It's like throwing gasoline on the fire. And the other one says, no, give lots and lots of iodine. So in my book, I said, well, this is what it is. This is what it does. This is the nutrition needed, and it's a pretty well-rounded list of the different vitamins, the different minerals, the different amino acids. And then you should find somebody that looks at you as a whole person, not just a thyroid problem, and work with them. I think it was 36 pages, and it made bestseller on Amazon. It's just a short story.
Yeah.
But
okay.
I kind of cut through it.
Okay, so the thyroid, if the thyroid is happy, then nobody else is happy. And I know that a lot of women with weight issues blame the thyroid, whether it's overfunctioning or underfunctioning or whatever. So I understand that. But so I still want to get it though. How does your foods you eat affects your thyroid? I mean, that's just for my understanding. Okay.
The main thing that makes it go hypo or underactive, gluten in the grain products. I'm not a big fan of grain for a lot of reasons, but the thing, you've got chlorine in all of our cleaning products, and this is not what you eat, but you do get a lot of chlorine and bromine and
in our water
fluoride.
too. I hear. Right.
Yes, all of those take the place of the iodine receptors in the thyroid, so the iodine can't get in, and then then the thyroid will begin to grow to have more cells, to try to have more cells to find the thyroid. My sweet little daughter came in and says, Daddy, I have thyroid cancer. I said, no, you don't. Let's do some lab. And she had a big goiter. And I said, well, if you'll just do this, 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 and this, and quit, using bleach and things like that, and put her on some supplements, her goiter went down, and she lost weight, felt a lot better. So it's like, well, some people say don't eat the cruciferous vegetables because that can adversely affect it, but it's also the cruciferous vegetables like broccoli, kale, cauliflower, or cabbage that takes out a lot of the environmental estrogen mimicking plastics and pesticides and fire retardants. So I don't think the diet is super important except the gluten and the grain, which is 4 times to 40 times more than it was back in the 1970s. Gluten's messing up your GI tract, which has an inverse effect to mess up the thyroid, and then it messes up your adrenals, and you're tired, and you're grumpy, and it just goes on and on. But I'm not a big fan of grain. That's why I like keto and paleo. Those people that avoid grain do much, much better in most cases.
Well, I don't have a gluten sensitivity, so I eat it, but I guess I should stop because now that there's so many people have this gluten sensitivity that everywhere you go, you're seeing gluten-free. It's, I didn't see it 5 years ago. Now it's everywhere. So I am aware when I'm buying something, whether it's, it's got gluten or not. But I still get it anyway because, I have a daughter-in-law that lost 70 pounds and was in the hospital for 3 months because they couldn't figure out what was wrong with her. And after, I don't know why it took them so long, but, after, almost 6 months or so of her suffering, and then they figured out that she had a huge gluten sensitivity issue. She couldn't keep anything down. She was throwing up for months and months and months. So, I was lucky that I'm not like that. So, I eat the foods. But now I'm understanding from you, that it's bad for you, that, what it does. So, you're right. If you can stay away from it, then that's a good thing to do. All right. Well, we've got an excellent start. Let's take our first break to hear a word from our sponsors, and we will come right back. And then we will get into which nutritional supplements that you should be taking and why. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back Also, remember to support the advertisers who support this radio program and podcast. All right, right back.
Do you ever think that you have too much stuff? Maybe 2 or 3 of the same item, but don't have the one thing you need or want? Or maybe you spend hours getting ready to host a garage sale, only to have most of the things taken to charity anyway. Perhaps you have a service you'd like to offer in exchange for another service that you need. Or maybe just looking for one specific hard-to-find item, like sports memorabilia or auto parts. Well, BarterUpOnline.com can help you solve all of these problems. Whether you have unwanted items, looking for specific items, or simply willing to trade services, BarterUpOnline.com is for you. The process is easy. Come to our website, sign up for a monthly account, which will cost you $2 a month, billed once a month, or sign up for an annual account, which will cost you $1 a month, billed once a year. Next, post as many items as you like on your barter page. Then, sit back and watch our back office help you find the people that are willing to trade. Yes, in no time, potential traders will be shopping on your barter page with no money. Want to tell your friends about your barter page, or maybe you're planning another garage sale? No problem. Simply send out your barter page email flyers or print your barter page business cards right from the website. Finally, a website that helps you trade something you don't want for something that you need, want, or can use. Go on and visit our website today. No money, no problem. Only trades.
Welcome back to the Transform Your Mind to Transform Your Life radio show and podcast. I'm your host, Coach Myrna Young, and today we are continuing on our series, Health is Wealth, and we are talking specifically today about how nutritional supplements helps you achieve optimum health, and my guest is Dr. Stephen Lewis. Now, in the first segment, Dr. Lewis went into why he started his company from being a chiropractor and being interested in health. We talked a little bit about how the thyroid, and if the thyroid is not working properly, then nothing is working. We touched on the gluten effect and what it does to your body when your iodine receptors are turned off. And so now we're going to get into our topic. So, Dr. Stephen, can you tell us how the proper, I guess that's the correct word, how the proper nutritional supplements help us return to optimum health?
Well, it's pretty broad subject, but what happens is that, for example, just magnesium, and there's no way to get enough magnesium out of your diet. Even our government says that we're about 94% deficient in magnesium, but magnesium, just as an example, can help depression because it facilitates like 300 different enzyme reactions, but it also is good for the heart. It helps many people with arrhythmias. It helps lower blood pressure in many people, and you can't get enough of it out of your diet. So, and it may be that you have a B12 deficiency. In most supplements out there, it'll have B12 in it, but it will be the wrong kind that your body really cannot convert.
Process, right.
We have, most people, at least on lab, you don't make enough digestive enzymes. And I can tell if you're digesting well, if your protein's low, if your alkaline phosphatase is low, if your globulin is low or high, and it's gastrointestinal inflammation. Keep in mind, every disease has maybe a root cause, or at least the GI tract is part of the equation. So if you fix your digestion with digestive enzymes, then you can break your food down and not create leaky gut. Then probiotics, that's the new big study, is that we have about 10 times more microorganisms than we have cells in our body. So it's, my question is, who runs who? So when you get higher amount of nutrition in there, and it needs to go way, way, way beyond the RDA, because people will say, well, why do you need 8,000 times the RDA? And the answer to that is because you're not going to absorb a lot of it, so you have to have great amounts in there. So generally people will start feeling better mentally. They will have more energy. They'll have more restful sleep. They'll say, well, I don't know, but my depression went away, or I don't know, but my cycle doesn't bend me over and double me up in cramps. And there's just, I hear things like that every day. And again, I say, well, you did the work. I'm just a really good coach, and I tell you what to do, but it doesn't work if you don't follow instructions. Just like when you're a life coach, the most successful people you have are the ones that just follow instructions. But there's just no limit to what our bodies can do, and people half my age say, I can't believe the energy you have. And I said, yeah, but it takes a lot of supplements to pull that off. You can't get it by eating hamburger and French fries.
Wow. Yes. Wow. Okay. Great. So I want to hear about these supplements, but let me circle back to a couple of things that you said. It's really interesting, but I take my magnesium, and even the drugstore brand, I have noticed a difference in my sleep quality, because that's why I take it, because, I have a problem falling to sleep naturally. So that's what I do to the magnesium. But you've just expanded that the magnesium is not only, you didn't mention sleep, but you mentioned good for the heart and blood pressure and all those different things. So I understand that. And it's really interesting as well that I was just for my annual checkup about a month ago, and I was telling my doctor that I take echinacea. And he says to me exactly what you just said, that there's no studies, there's no FDA proof that echinacea and any of these supplements do anything. But if it's working for you, then that's good. He also mentioned probiotics. I could have sworn that there's some, because I swear by probiotics. If I don't take probiotics, then, I'm not regular. So, I mean, I swear by it. But he's also saying that there's nothing, no FDA approval or FDA, whatever they say that, when you put out a drug and it says this is what it's good for, I guess none of these supplements, there's anything from the FDA that says what they're used for, what they're good for, because he mentioned that to me, and you've just said the same thing.
I would say respectfully that maybe he needs magnesium because he's full of it. He does not understand it. He doesn't have time to read his own research, and I'm sure he's a very learned man. But again, the GI tract, I've got a list here of all kinds of things. Inflammation can start as early as infancy from infections, excessive antibiotics, chlorinated water, and even emotional trauma. And that's from Journal of Gastroenterology and New England Journal of Medicine. Now, these are studies done by the people that educate the medical profession. So, why do we not address that? Anti-inflammatory drugs like ibuprofen causes leakiness in the guts. And how many people do an aspirin a day or ibuprofen or Tylenol? And this is from National Journal of Cancer and Journal of Arthritis and Rheumatism. This is not Dr. Lewis's opinion. This is real research. Here's another one. Probiotics for other systemic diseases, which is gastrointestinal, urinary, colon, cancer, and cholesterol. And that leads to allergies, constipation, osteoporosis, milk intolerance. That's from the American Journal of Nutrition. So why would a doctor tell you there's no research on it? And again, I think our FDA does some good things, but people ask me that, well, are they FDA approved? I said, no, they're the ones that approved the drugs that killed 140,000 people last year. Supplements killed nobody. No, not one person last year.
True.
Even the bad supplements.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm getting on my soapbox here. But
yeah, I know. But, all right. So we better get to the big question here then, because like I said, I've been taking supplements for a long time. And, I've got a pharmacy here. But I've heard people say things like, okay, if you take this, you're going to pee it out. It's not going in, or it's a waste of time. And so tell us, what is the 411 in these things? So I think what you're saying, and before you answer that, I should also say that because I am menopausal, right, I've heard people come to me and say, listen, you can take the same, and I think before we started the show, I mentioned it to you, and I don't know what the difference between my and just taking a test to see what you're missing. But basically, that's what I've been told. Something else is wrong with you, then I can do a test and I can find out what your body's missing, and then I will give you these supplements. So yeah, let's talk about both of those things.
Well, we do a huge amount of lab testing, and we do it at an extremely low rate. I don't make the money off lab. I only make a little bit if people buy the supplements, the good ones. So,
okay.
As far as they say, well, you just have expensive urine, that's the biggest cop-out. and as well as I do, that you get the life that you speak, you get the life that you believe. It's not what we know, it's what we do that counts.
Right.
Don't be hearers of the word, but be doers of the word.
Mm-hmm.
And
yes.
People that say that stuff, well, you just have expensive urine. I said, well, why did you drink an expensive beer and eat a $25 ribeye? And then they get it.
So right off the bat, that's a lie. We don't pee out all the stuff.
No, your body takes what it uses, and again, you can't absorb a lot because poor digestion. But most of the nutritional experts will agree on 5 things that everybody needs. You need a good multivitamin, and most of them are not really that good. You need a probiotic, you need a digestive enzyme, you need fish oil, and you need fiber. And I don't really agree with the fiber if you're eating enough really good vegetables, but I think vitamin D should be thrown in there. It's incredibly important, and you cannot convert enough sunlight to make enough vitamin D because we have those plastics and pesticides and heavy metals that they existed in the 70s, but they're much, much, much worse than what they were even, back then 50 years ago.
All right. Well, yeah. I mean, I've just found it. It's really interesting. It's just like they tell you that once you think about a red car, then you're going to see a red car everywhere. And this vitamin D has just come up on me. I have not taken vitamin D almost all my life until I would say maybe about a year ago. And now everywhere I go, people are shooting vitamin D, vitamin D, vitamin D. You know what I mean? And I don't even think Deepak Chopra talked about it in his book. I mean, his book is old. I mean, like I said, it's an old book, and he didn't talk about the vitamin D in there. But, everybody is saying that it's very important. And, yeah, I do take it. Even though I live in Florida and I walk every day in the sun, I still take vitamin D. So, all right, so we get the a good multivitamin. What is a digestive enzyme? Is that the probiotic? Is that in that space, or is that something else?
That's a very common question, and yet the probiotics do help with digestion, assimilation, and elimination. But no, it's not the same as an enzyme. An enzyme is a molecule that actually unlocks the different parts, and very, very, very few people that I do lab on has optimal digestion. And again, you can tell if their protein's too low, if their globulin's too low or too high, if their alkaline phosphatase is too low, and you can pretty much tell how their digestion is. And people say, well, I don't have gas, bloating, belching, but I notice that I have more regular bowel movements. And here's Janet's story.
Yeah.
And she says, well, if you have 3 trains going into a tunnel, how many trains do you expect to come out on the other side? And she says, if you're eating 3 meals a day, but you're only going to the bathroom every other day, and some doctors will say, well, that's normal.
Yeah.
No, that's not normal.
Yep. No, it's not. Right. Yep. Right. Actually, they say that you've got to think about how babies poop. Like babies poop every time they eat. We are supposed to do that. Not many of us do that, but yeah, definitely every day should be important. And that's why I take my probiotics, because if I don't take my probiotics, then I notice it in my bowel movement. So for sure.
Yes.
Yeah. Awesome. Now, one other question before we go on our second break: how do you get fiber from vitamins or nutritional supplements? I mean, I always thought that's roughage, that you have to eat that, like food.
Well, we do have fiber, but I just tell people if you're eating enough vegetables, I don't think fiber's that big of an issue. And then there's this, you have to watch buzzwords. People say, do you have a prebiotic? do your probiotics have a prebiotic? I said, prebiotic is a fiber, a place for the probiotics to live. Are you eating enough salads and fruits and vegetables? So don't get caught up in the buzzwords. A lot of people try to sell you something based on this buzzword or that buzzword. I try to educate people so they can make an intelligent or wise decision.
Yeah, okay. All right. So good. Awesome. Well, I really enjoyed this conversation. I learned so much. That's awesome. So, all right. So let's take our second station break, and then we'll come right back because we need to know how to get some of this good stuff. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Do you ever think that you have too much stuff? Maybe 2 or 3 of the same item, but don't have the one thing you need or want? Or maybe you spend hours getting ready to host a garage sale, only to have most of the things taken to charity anyway. Perhaps you have a service you'd like to offer in exchange for another service that you need. Or maybe just looking for one specific hard-to-find item, like sports memorabilia or auto parts. Well, BarterUpOnline.com can help you solve all of these problems. Whether you have unwanted items, looking for specific items, or simply willing to trade services, BarterUpOnline.com is for you. The process is easy. Come to our website, sign up for a monthly account, which will cost you $2 a month, billed once a month, or sign up for an annual account, which will cost you $1 a month, billed once a year. Next, post as many items as you like on your barter page. Then, sit back and watch our back office help you find the people that are willing to trade. Yes, in no time, potential traders will be shopping on your barter page with no money. Want to tell your friends about your barter page, or maybe you're planning another garage sale? No problem. Simply send out your barter page email flyers or print your barter page business cards right from the website. Finally, a website that helps you trade something you don't want for something that you need, want, or can use. Go on and visit our website today. No money, no problem. Only trades.
Welcome back to the Transform Your Mind to Transform Your Life radio show and podcast. My guest today is Dr. Stephen Lewis, and we have been talking about nutritional supplements and how that helps you achieve optimum health. As we come to the last minutes of our show, definitely want to talk to Dr. Stephen about his company, Green Wisdom Health, and tell us how you work as far as your lab results and how you get your clients back to optimum health, and then you can conclude with how they can get a hold of your supplements that you carry.
Well, the way I work is I tell people just go on the website and fill out a health survey, and it's a brief survey, and it'll suggest suggested lab work, but I would prefer to call you myself when I get a health survey. I will do the calling about 99% of the time. People think the doctor's always busy, but, like I've said before, behind every successful man is a very brilliant and tired woman, and that would be Janet. She's doing most of the work. And so you fill out this health survey, and I'll talk to you for a few minutes, or at least leave a message if you don't answer, and say, well, based on what you put, I would suggest this lab. And you can buy the lab on the website, and it'll tell you where to go. And then within a few days to maybe a week, we will send you a link where you schedule a 30-minute consultation with me, at which point we'll email you a functional nutritional report. We will email you, of course, you'll have your lab, and we'll have a list of supplements. And then during the conversation or the consultation, which is free, that's included with the lab if you order the preferred labs, I will tell you, well, this is what's going on in your lab, and this is how it relates to whatever condition that you need help with, and these are the supplements for that. And more importantly, I'll give you plenty of time to ask questions and feel comfortable with that I tell people, just, judge me with a discerning spirit. If your heart, your mind, your intuition says go, get on it and give your body time to heal. And you can live healthy and happy.
Awesome.
There's nothing
I like
holding
that.
you back. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I like that. Like I said, I have been approached before about something similar. I never got into it because it was expensive. So you're saying that yours is very economical and affordable. So that's great. So let's say that you've gone to consultation and somebody's got a leaky gut or somebody's got, they can't sleep or something like that, and then you
Right.
you tell them what you feel some of the supplements can replace whatever they're missing in their lab. So how do they? Where do they go to get the supplements?
Well, they get them off the website.
Your website. And what's that website?
It's greenwisdomhealth.com, and we ship all over the country every day because people have a tendency to buy from the people where they get the information and people that they trust. And I email back and forth to answer questions. I'm very attentive.
Okay.
I want people to feel good, and I think we need a coach because, again, it's not what you know, but it's what you do. And sometimes we need to, kind of have that little somebody to spur you on a little bit, to give you a little bit more confidence that you're doing the correct thing.
Well, true, and there's nothing that gives you more confidence than lab work. So I understand it totally. You're not guessing. You're not throwing darts. You're saying, well, this is what your lab work says that you're missing, and this is how you can. And the great thing about it is you're a doctor. So a doctor's saying, hey, you know what, this is, I've read your lab work, and this is basically what you're missing, and this is going to help, replace what you're missing and give you the life that you want. You talked about energy. You talked about, healing your digestive issues, which, it's, quality of life. And my problem is sleeping. So I think that I'll definitely go and check you out to see what I'm missing because, I have to take stuff to sleep almost every night, and I know that's bad. It means that something is missing in my body. So I get you. All right, so that's awesome. So that website is Green Wisdom Health, GreenWisdomHealth.com. So when they go on that website, is there a place for them to fill out the health survey and start this process? Obviously.
Yes, ma'am. You can do that, and there's a place to click where you can listen to podcasts. And sometimes people want to listen to 2 or 3 podcasts just to make sure they have a good feel about what we do. And most people like it that I shoot straight. I don't sugarcoat it, but I try to be very polite, but I don't know how to sugarcoat things. And sometimes I have these analogies that kind of make you think a little bit differently and give you hope. That's the main thing, hope for a better, healthier, happier life. And a good night's sleep. Yeah, we can talk about sleep too.
Listen, I'm aware that, I know it's hormonal, and I know that I'm missing something. So, yes, so that would be, my problem. Because, you should fall asleep naturally. And I know that the fact that I can't, there's means something is missing. I know that. I just haven't done anything about it. Other than take melatonin or whatever's the flavor of the week. Awesome. All right. Well, thank you. You're laughing at me, right?
laughing with you because we've gone through this before. Sleep can be an elusive thing, but I think some of the things that Janet and I have experienced is just because we're being taught, well, people have this, and we can be very sympathetic or empathetic to them, and it's like Janet says, I don't want to have these symptoms to experience this and experience and understand. I said, yeah, well, that's the way the universe works. It makes you an expert, but you can definitely feel better. I have twice as much energy as anybody my age should, and it takes a few supplements to pull that off, but it's worth it to have that expensive piece, so to speak, which is crazy that they would even say that. But, you can. It's an investment in your health, and it's worth it to me.
Yeah, oh, definitely. Longevity. That's what we all want to do. We want to stay here longer, and we want to be healthy, and running at 90 and those type of things. Yeah, that's my aim.
Exactly.
That's my goal. You definitely don't want to be here and be in bed or something like that. Wow. So yes, your health is definitely very important. All right.
Yes.
So as we wrap up, I want to thank our guests for tuning in to the Transform Your Mind to Transform Your Life radio show and podcast. This was my fourth and final installment in our Health is Wealth series. If you missed any of the other 3 episodes, head over to my blog, which is blog.myhelps.us. That is myhelps.us. To download, you can get the links also to my guests, to their websites, and you can get also a written transcript of our conversation. You can also download on any of the podcast players, including iTunes, iHeartRadio, SoundCloud, and Spotify. I want to thank Dr. Stephen Lewis for taking the time to share his knowledge on nutritional supplements with us today. I know that I had some eye-opening moments in our conversation, and I learned, quite a few things. I am a nutritional supplement person, and like I said, I just buy them because I buy my supplements because somebody said, okay, you should take this one. You should take this one. And so it's not buy from anything where somebody says that my body needs this or what. I just heard, okay, you need to take fish oil, and you need to take vitamin E, and you need to take, so you know what I mean. And that's basically how I do them. And it would be nice to get expert feedback and expert opinion. And if it's something that doesn't cost you much, then I would suggest that you go ahead and do it. Especially for the older generation, the young people can. They've got nature on their side, and they can not take care of their body. Even though I tell my 30-year-old daughter all the time, I said, listen, if you don't do self-care, then you're going to feel it when you're 50. It starts now. So even the young ones, there's no excuse. Yes, you need to take care of your body, and you need to treat it well so that when you get to your 50s and 60s, you're not going to have all the problems. I'm sure you have a comment on that, right, Dr. Lewis?
Well, I always have something to say. Janet has trouble shutting me up. But, I get people, male, female, it doesn't matter. But we're getting more and more young people in their 20s and 30s, and it's amazing to me. And I asked one, the consultation before this, I said, why are you here? And, she was just 35, and she says, because I don't want to have a cabinet full of drugs like my parents, and they're addle-headed. And she just went on and on and on. It's like, the young ones they have a lot of wisdom to them. They just don't see the need in taking 14 drugs.
No, they don't. Right, they don't. But unless they have a mother like me that keeps pounding it in their head.
Doing a good job.
Yeah, self-care. Listen, I know it. We can end with this comment, is that, whatever is happening to you right now in your health is something that you've been doing for 20 years, right? It doesn't start now. So I know that, because, this is my space, and I know that. So, it's been building. If you get sick in your 60s, that means it's something you've been doing since your 30s. It's built up to have that effect. So, yeah, you've got to start young. Even if you start at 70 years old, it's still better than not doing it at all. But, if somebody is listening this, and you're young, then yeah, you need to self-care and eat the right foods and take supplements and do all those things. All right, Dr. Stephen, this was a very interesting conversation. Thank you so much again. I want to thank my guests for tuning in, or my listeners for tuning in. So until next time, namaste.